Join our community by subscribing. Every click helps us share more stories like this one. The introduction. In the quiet town of Maplewood, nestled among the rolling hills of upstate New York, everything seemed as tranquil as a postcard. On the surface, it was a town that cherished its weekends, where families gathered in parks and the scent of freshly baked bread wafted from the local bakery. Yet, beneath this idyllic facade lay a disturbing truth, one waiting patiently to claw its way into the light. On a fog-laden morning in early October, the Harmony Shack, the Maplewood Police Department received an unexpected call that would change everything. A young woman had been reported missing by her frantic parents. 22-year-old Clara Hudson, a beloved figure among locals, vanished without a trace. Her cheerful laughter and pastel sketches of the town hung in galleries, a testament to her warmth, painting a stark contrast to the darkness rapidly enveloping the community. Detective Mark Lawson, seasoned but weary from years on the force, wasn't accustomed to such sudden chaos. He arrived at the Hudson home, where worried expressions painted the faces of friends and family members. Clara's absence felt like a wound that had yet to be acknowledged. As he stepped inside, the air grew thick with uncertainty and anxiety. Every detail mattered. A coffee cup half finished on the table, her favorite scarf draped haphazardly over a chair. The echoes of conversations faded into weighty silence, urging him to uncover what lay beneath the surface of Maplewood's picturesque life, a life that creaked with secrets. The victim, Clara Hudson, was a beacon of light in Maplewood, known for her infectious spirit and creative talent. Growing up in the town, she was the kind of person who could brighten anyone's day with just a smile. Her parents, Martha and James Hudson, were proud residents of the community, and they had nurtured Clara's artistic side from an early age. Her sketches and watercolor paintings adorned their living room walls, each piece a snapshot of her love for the town and its people. As news of her disappearance spread, the residents rallied together, driven by a profound sense of loss. Clara was more than just a missing person. She was the girl who volunteered at the local animal shelter, the friend who organized community art classes, the beloved daughter who could light up the darkest days. Conversations turned somber, with each person recounting their cherished memory of her, painfully aware that time was slipping away to find. Detective Lawson found himself surrounded by a mosaic of emotions, a blend of sorrow and urgency. He interviewed Clara's close friends at the nearby coffee shop that had once been their favorite home. They spoke of her dreams of becoming a professional artist, the exhibitions she longed to join, and the summer road trips they had planned together. Yet, the laughter faded when they unveiled their darker thoughts. Clara had mentioned an unsettling feeling in recent weeks, an inkling of someone watching her. He scribbled down notes, sensing that the key to solving this mystery lay not just in where she was, but who she was. Clara wasn't just a lost artist. She was a young woman navigating shadows. Neither she nor her friends could yet see. The crime scene. The following day, Detective Lawson returned to the Hudson residence, driven by a gnawing feeling that the answers might lurk in the shadows of Clara's world. The sun broke through the clouds, transforming the fog from the previous day into a deceptive warmth. Yet, as he stepped inside the modest home, the atmosphere remained cold choked with an unease that refused to dissipate. Lawson scanned the living room again, seeking what he might have missed. The coffee mug still sat frozen in time, but he noticed something strange, a faint scuff on the hardwood floor, just beneath the coffee table. Kneeling down for a closer inspection, he uncovered a small silver earring half hidden in the dust. It wasn't Clara's. His heart raced. Whatever had happened here was more complex than a simple disappearance. The once cheerful home now bore the shroud of distress. Moving methodically to Clara's bedroom, he began piecing through her belongings. The air felt thick with secrets as he opened her closet, revealing a chaotic assembly of clothes, art supplies, and an unfinished canvas that seemed to scream for attention. What struck him most was a journal. He opened it cautiously, the pages fragile beneath his fingertips, filled with drawings and snippets of thoughts that chronicled her life. But the final entries were different, disjointed, frantic. Words like watching and unsafe echoed ominously, each letter a silent testimony to the growing dread she had felt. As the seriousness of Clara's situation settled in, he stepped outside to the overgrown garden. A sense of urgency surged within him. He needed to uncover the web of relationships swarming around Clara, for a revelation lingering in her art and her fears could be key to understanding her fate. The early investigation. Detective Lawson stepped out of the Hudson home, determination woven tightly into the fabric of his thoughts. The journal had ignited a flicker of hope amidst the despair, and he knew he needed to gather as much information as possible. He headed to the Maplewood police station, a faded brick structure that had seen years of changes, yet stood as a stalwart guardian for its community. With a map sprawled across his desk, Lawson pinned photos of Clara around it, including the overlooked earring. He needed to connect the dots among her friends, her family, anyone who might have posed a threat. First on his list was a review of her social media accounts, which illuminated a network of relationships vibrant yet complicated. Interviews commenced in earnest. The first was with Sarah Williams, Clara's best friend since childhood. In the dimly lit cafe where they had laughed many times before, anxiety enveloped Sarah. She fidgeted, gripping her coffee cup while recounting the last time she saw Clara. She seemed anxious, like something was off, she revealed. Her voice wavered. Sarah began to cry, remembering how Clara had expressed fears about someone she felt was watching her. With each retelling, a pervasive sense of dread grew. Sarah's exploration into Clara's life led to the involvement of a local artist named Daniel. Clara had often praised him for his talent, but had recently become increasingly guarded about their friendship. Was Daniel a source of inspiration or a potential threat? As the day transitioned into dusk, the weight of the investigation took hold of Lawson. He felt like a fisherman casting out lines into murky waters, hoping for clarity. Clara's disappearance was more than just a mystery. It was a testament to the layers of human emotion and frailty, and he remained committed to peeling them back, layer by layer. The dead ends. As the days turned into a week, the search for Clara intensified. But the investigation had hit a series of unexpected dead ends. Detective Lawson, optimistic yet increasingly frustrated, reviewed the growing stack of notes on his desk, each marked with hopeful leads that had resolutely fizzled out. An all-points bulletin had gone out, posters with Clara's face plastered on street lamps and shop windows across Maplewood. Yet, there was still no sign. The interview with Daniel, the artist, had yielded little. He claimed Clara had been seeking guidance in her art, but had denied any inappropriate intentions or strange behavior. Lawson felt the tension between Daniel's words and the unease within Clara's journal pages. But without solid evidence or corroborating testimony, the gaps were cavernous. As darkness fell on another autumn evening, Lawson sat in his car outside the local park, where Clara often drew inspiration for her work. The rustling leaves whispered secrets as he pondered where to look next. A few joggers passed by, their breaths visible in the chill. But with every new face, he felt a growing disconnect. In a town filled with familiarity, the unknown felt suffocating. Days later, a tip came in about a sighting of vague lead, claiming a woman matching Clara's description was seen with a man at the farmer's market. The witness couldn't recall details and had only glimpsed them from afar. Lawson followed up, but the trail quickly ran cold. No one at the market recognized either of them, and any potential CCTV footage had been overwritten or was of poor quality. Each failure weighed heavy on his heart, but he couldn't afford to relent. Clara's laughter echoed in his mind as he envisioned her vibrant spirit, urging him not to give up. Time was no ally in a case where every second stretched unbearable. A break in the case. The crisp air of late October carried a weight of change, and it was in the midst of this shifting season that Detective Lawson received an unexpected call. Just when despair threatened to consume him, a glimmer of hope emerged. At the Maplewood police station that morning, Officer Riley burst into Lawson's office, her voice barely containing her excitement. "We've got a tip. A couple found something at the edge of the woods near the old Miller farm." She handed over a slip of paper with the details, and Lawson felt a surge of adrenaline course through him. The Miller farm had long been abandoned, shrouded by overgrown brush and tales of misfortune. He'd noted its proximity to Clara's last known whereabouts, but hadn't considered it significant until now. Within the hour, Lawson arrived at the location with a small team of officers, the air thick with an anticipation that replaced the gloom that had settled over the past week. As they ventured into the woods, the canopy of trees shielded them from the piercing sunlight, and every rustle of leaves seemed to amplify it. The couple, visibly shaken, guided the team toward a clearing where they had stumbled upon an old shed. Upon prying the door open, they discovered a chilling sight. A tangle of discarded items, including a canvas eerily similar to Clara's unfinished work from her bedroom. Pushing through the fear creeping into his heart, Lawson's eyes were drawn to a blue scarf caught in the floorboards, a distinctive piece Clara had been wearing on the day she disappeared. He felt a chill reminiscent of restless spirits, the hair on his neck rising as he gestured for the team to gather around. Amidst the unearthed paraphernalia, he found a small backpack that held Clara's sketchbook, pages filled with recent drawings, each one more frantic than the last. More frantic than the last. With each stroke captured on the fragile paper, a sense of urgency bloomed within him. Clara had channeled her fears into art, and within those pages, clues awaited discovery. The suspect. The discovery at the Miller farm shed ignited a renewed vigor in the investigation. Detective Lawson and his team worked tirelessly to analyze Clara's sketches, piecing together fragments of her frantic mindset. Each line and shadow seemed a desperate attempt to communicate her fears, and as they unraveled the layers, they stumbled upon a common figure lurking in her artwork, a man with dark features, notably similar to a face Clara had often mentioned in it. Passing, The team quickly shifted their focus to a local man named Michael Geller, an artist who had relocated to Maplewood months before Clara vanished. He had integrated himself into the community, but remained an enigmatic figure, riddled with suspicion. Clara had described him as charming yet unsettling, someone whose attention had made her uncomfortable during art gatherings. Lawson arranged for a meeting with Geller under the guise of discussing local artists. They met in a quiet cafe, a space that once felt comforting now felt charged with tension. Geller sat across from Lawson, his demeanor perfectly poised. His dark hair framed sharp features, and his smile could be disarming if not for the intensity in his gaze. Sipping coffee, Lawson initiated casual conversation, probing into Geller's relationship with Clara. "What can you tell me about her?" Lawson asked, maintaining a watchful eye. Geller's response was dripping with casual indifference, and there was a subtle shift in his body language, an instinctive withdrawal that gave Lawson pause. As the conversation meandered, Geller struggled to articulate specifics about their artistic exchanges, often deflecting with vague comments about his admiration. Clarity eluded him. When Lawson steered the discussion towards Clara's recent artwork, Geller's composure cracked, revealing a fleeting annoyance that sent alarm bells ringing in Lawson's mind. After the meeting, Lawson and his team began digging deeper into Geller's background. What they found hinted at a series of disturbing incidents in other towns' art-related disputes that ended with threats and allegations against women who had angered him. With each unsettling detail, a portrait of a potential suspect began to take shape, one that had dangerously entwined himself into Clara's life before her sudden disappearance. The trial. Months passed, yet the weight of Clara's absence loomed over Maplewood like a storm cloud that refused to dissipate. In the bustling courtroom, tension crackled in the air. A collective breath held tight as the trial of Michael Geller began. The once charming artist sat stoically at the defendant's table, flanked by a team of lawyers, his dark eyes scanning the room with an unsettling calmness that belied the gravity of the charges against him. Detective Lawson was present, front and center, the echoes of the investigation reverberating in his mind. Clara's family, visibly distraught, occupied the seats behind the prosecution, their faces a tapestry of heartbreak and determination. They had endured not just the pain of losing Clara, but now faced the reality of reliving the trauma in a public arena. As the trial unfolded, the prosecution painted a damning portrait of Geller, their case, built on circumstantial evidence, witness testimonies, and the sketches Clara had produced in her final days. A crucial element was the pattern of disturbing interactions Geller had with local women, all of which were meticulously documented. Each statement from witnesses, coupled with Detective Lawson's recounting of the evidence found at the Miller farm, added layers of complexity and urgency to the trial. Geller's defense leaned heavily on the assertion that the evidence was purely speculative, arguing that Clara had mental health issues that might have tainted her perceptions. This claim sent tremors through the courtroom, leaving Clara's loved ones feeling victimized all over again. Emotions ran high, and the lines between justice and exploitation blurred with every passing day. In the closing statements, Lawson watched as the prosecutor delivered a heartfelt appeal, underscoring Clara's life. Her vibrant dreams extinguished too soon. She was more than just a missing person. She was a daughter, a friend, a light in our community, the attorney implored, drawing tears from the gallery. As the jury deliberated, silence enveloped the room. A collective hope lingered for justice, a hope that rang true to Clara's light, and the anguish that had cocooned Maplewood since her disappearance. The fate of Michael Geller lay in their hands, and with it, the fragile chance to honor Clara Hudson's memory. The aftermath, the courtroom doors swung open, releasing a wave of uncertainty as the jury returned with their verdict. Tensions coiled tightly, waiting for the decisive moment. As the foreman rose to speak, every heart in the room felt suspended in time. We find the defendant, Michael Geller, guilty of kidnapping and murder. The words landed like a thunderclap. Gasps erupted from the gallery while Clara's family embraced, tears streaming down their faces. Relief clashed with grief, a bittersweet acknowledgement of a harrowing journey finally reaching a conclusion. Lawson stood quietly, absorbing the weight of the moment. Justice had been served, but it came at an unbearable cost. In the months that followed, Clara's presence was woven into the very fabric of Maplewood. The community sought ways to honor her life, electing to establish a scholarship in her name to support budding artists. Clara's parents vowed to keep her spirit alive by sharing her story, ensuring that her light would shine on as a beacon for others grappling with adversity. Yet healing was a complex tapestry. While justice had been served, the scars left by Geller's actions ran deep. The residual fear and uncertainty within the town lingered, casting shadows over their everyday lives. Neighbors began looking at each other with new caution. Friendships strained under the weight of suspicion that hadn't existed before. Detective Lawson found himself at a crossroads. While he had dedicated years to his craft, this case had changed him irrevocably. The images of Clara's unfinished artwork haunted his thoughts as he walked the quiet streets of Maplewood. He had witnessed the fragility of human life and the darkness that often lay beneath the surface. It compelled him to look closer, to listen more intently, and to protect those who could not protect themselves. As winter approached, the first snowfall blanketed the town in a soft white veil, offering a fragile sense of peace. Clara's family, along with the entire community, gathered for a memorial in the park, her favorite place to skate. Candles flickered, a soft light against the gathering dusk, embodying the hope that Clara would always be remembered, forever captured within the hearts of those who loved her. Reflection. As the frosty air settled over Maplewood, Detective Lawson took refuge in the rhythmic sound of his footsteps along the park's winding path. Clara's memorial weighed heavily on his mind, and he could still hear the soft conversations of the gathered community, echoing in his ear-severing voice, a testament to a life disrupted, yet deeply cherished. Seated on a familiar bench, he closed his eyes, allowing himself a moment to process the complexity of emotions swirling within him. Gratitude for the closure brought by Clara's case wrestled with the haunting realization that the shadows of such tragedies linger long after verdicts are rendered. The park, vibrant just weeks ago with laughter and warmth, now felt muted and somber beneath the weight of the snow, yet it held a certain serenity. Clara's spirit had woven itself into the fabric of the community, igniting conversations about safety, mental health, and the importance of listening to one another. From this tragedy, lessons resonated deeply. The need for vigilance, the importance of compassion, and the fact that beneath the surface of every smile, there exists a story worth telling. Lawson reflected on his role not merely as a detective, but as a guardian of these stories woven through life. As he stood to leave, he glanced back at the memorial made not just for Clara, but for all the voices that may one day come forward, and a promise to himself to continue seeking truth amidst the dark.